Hello, my name is William, and I'm here to show the new Provider File Update web form. This form will be available on our website via URL. Simply clicking on the link when it is available will open this form, and you could submit your provider file updates as needed. To review the form, we're going to simulate a submission using test information. At the very top, we have please select the type of transaction. The three options are change, add, and inactive. I will go ahead and click through all three. And as I click through, you're going to see beneath it that the options change depending on what is selected. For the purpose of this test, I'm going to keep it with add. It is the simplest option here because there was nothing beneath it. However, in this instance, if you do select some of these options, let's say you make it a change and you say you need to change your name or street address, well, that's something you have to do on a different form, and it will tell you if that is the case. But let's go ahead and just make it an add. A couple minor notes here. Required fields will have little red asterisks next to them, and if you do not complete them or do not complete them correctly, if there are additional validations, you will incur an error, which will be a little red box beneath the field telling you that you have to make a revision. Next to that, there's a little eye icon, a little information icon, and these are little tooltips intended to help guide you in filling out the form. Now let's go ahead and enter some basic test information. I'm going to use some pre-saved one I've done on this before apparently. Test LLC will be my entity name. I will just use my entity number of a basic 12345. Additionally, there are some other pieces of guidance underneath certain fields, like this one here. For the submitting county, we have what's called a drop down. From here, I could scroll and I could find the county I want. Similarly, if I know the name of the county, I could just type it in and it will select it, and that will give me the code plus the county all in one field. Now, the provider name, let's call this test provider. One note here, this is a prompt asking if the provider is a satellite clinic. If you check that, to the right, you will see a new field appear with that wants you to enter some information. Now, this is an example of a field that will appear or disappear and be required depending on what you select. So hopefully it will guide you to fill out the correct information as you work through this form. The provider number, I'll just make it 1234. Here is another example of a little bit of an interesting piece here. It is asking, will the provider not bill Medi-Cal? Well, currently, if that is not selected, an NPI is required. We will need that if the provider will bill Medi-Cal. However, if you check that box, you can still enter your NPI, but you will notice it is now a non-required field. And here's an example of an error. Once you interact with it and it is required, in this case, this is a simple error saying this is a required field. Let's just enter in something there to satisfy it. The provider type, I'll click General Hospital, and then let's go ahead and select private contract for the contract type. These are both drop downs, but they're smaller lists, so I just scrolled through and selected them. Here is the provider start date. Now, just so we're clear, the provider start date is here because we did an add. If we did an inactive, we would only see the provider end date. Now, for the provider start date or any of these date fields in this form, they are direct entry, as in you could just type right into the field, it will fill it out as you type. The one caveat here, or the one thing to be thinking about, is the standard format does require leading zeros. So 07, 02, etc. Just FYI, just so you're made aware of it. The provider contact information, we will just fill this out very quickly. As you saw there, I just selected some fives here, and I'll just do it again so you can see it. Formatting is applied automatically. You don't have to do the any formatting, the dash or anything else here to enter into this field. The primary practice address, I will just call it 123 Test Way. One note here, you see the zip code is right here. It will accept a 5-digit zip code like we see there, and it will also accept other versions of zip codes. But let's enter in something that we know is wrong. The point is that it must match one of three patterns. The 5 digits, which we just talked about, the 5 digits, a dash, and 4 more digits, or 5 digits space 4 digits. For the test, let's just keep things simple, keep it at 5 digits, but any one of those three options are acceptable. The modes of service and service functions, let's go ahead and add some of these. As you'll notice here at the bottom, it says add because we selected this as an add transaction. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to add this. And when I enter this, you'll notice the code is automatically put there. You don't have to, interact with it. And from here, we can go ahead and add other options, right? Easy peasy. Now, if you do need to delete something, it's not hard. All you got to do is get rid of that guy and add another row if needed, right? Beneath here, we do have the Medi-Cal certified licensed individuals. I'm not going to fill this out, but I will show it so you folks have a better idea of how to interact with it. There are two real pathways for this if you do have some of these to submit. There are 15 or less or 16 or more. For 15 or less, it's similar to the box above, like up here, where you have to enter into it and fill out a bunch of information to proceed. And then if you have more to add, you could do it. However, if you're submitting a good number of these, what you can do is just pick this 16 or more option and then upload a spreadsheet. I will say though, if you're taking this route, you must make sure to include the columns below or the information below for each of these Medi-Cal certified licensed individuals. Just keep that in mind. But like I said, for this test, we're not going to go ahead and submit that. We'll keep it simple. Let's fill out some additional information here. The county contact name, which is test tester in this instance. There's December, the submittal date is December 11th, 2024. That is the day I'm recording this. I will note that this date is, you don't have to enter into it yourself. It is automatic. The county email is right here. I'm going to enter in my county contact email, I should say. I'm going to enter in my email, my work email, that is. And the purpose here of this email box is that a lot of the communication that you're going to get from this submission will be sent to that email. So you want to make sure you enter in your correct email that you're getting this, that you want updates coming to. I will also say, though, there are some standard formatting or standard email formatting validations built into this field. However, it can't confirm whether or not it is truly a working and valid email. It can only kind of look at the information provided and say this is in the format of an email and stop you if it's not. So I just wanted to bring it up. Just be very careful what you enter into there because we want to make sure you get your updates. The county contact phone right here is a non-required field. I'll just enter some 5s into it. That seems to be a good way of doing it. And we're done with the filling out of the form. You could go back and review it as needed. In this case, there are no errors in this information because we fixed them as we went through them. If there were and you tried to submit, it would simply bring you back up to the spot you need to fix and you would have to make your revision. Let's go ahead and submit it though. Once you submit it, you will be presented with this form submitted successfully page showing you that it's done. And after several minutes, I have this prepared. It usually takes a couple minutes for this to come into your email inbox. But here is an example of your what you should see. You should be getting an email with a couple elements. There will be some tweaks to this email template, I should say. However, the bigger point takeaways are that one, you will get a ticket number up here, which is a good thing to refer to later. You will get a confirmation, of course, in the email body saying that we received your submission. And then finally, you'll be getting a PDF. For this PDF, it will just show you what you submitted. There's not a lot else to it. I'll go ahead and close that for now. Now, at this point, in our test scenario, the department now has the submission, and one of two things could happen. One, there are no errors with the submission, and it gets entered and into our systems of record, and then you get an email saying that we're good. We have completed your submission and it has been processed. That would be closing the book on that. However, there are times where tweaks have to be made. Maybe the NPI was wrong, or the contract uh, type was wrong, or whatever. Well, in that instance, what you will receive is, I would call it, a more targeted styled email like this. And in this instance, once again, this is a standard template that varies depending on what was found wrong or what was found requiring editing in your submission. But the major takeaway here is that it will list the items that need to be revised. It can provide a note. This note is not required. Sometimes you'll see it, sometimes you won't. And then finally, it provides you a little link. This link will take you to what I would call a targeted form, as in, it will not show every PFU field. It will only show the fields that we pinpointed as an issue, and then additionally, it will those fields will be required. Once again, if you remember the ticket number that we were looking at, you'll see it here a couple times in the correction form. And then let's go ahead. I'll zoom up a little bit so you can see it a little better. Let's go ahead and enter some stuff. Let's change it to a different MPI, and the provider type. Let's change it to, I don't know, something like this, right? Small family home. Then let's press submit, and that will complete the submission. Now, going back to the completion, if you've made the necessary changes from that form we just submitted, then that should end the process for you, and the department can fulfill it and enter it, and then send you that email confirming that they've entered your information. However, if there are additional revisions, which I understand is a possibility, you would receive another form like this one, you'd fill it out. And the bigger point here is that once you're fully done with the process, whether there were revisions or not, you will receive a finalized PDF that will then include any revisions there may or may not have been made, right? But that concludes the review for the provider file update form. Thank you for your time and your flexibility. Take care.